welcome to this segment of Hit the Books. This will ideally be a weekly segment over the next several weeks up until the tournament, in which we look at one team that is perhaps undervalued in the market and one team that is overvalued in the market. As a reminder, like all Hit the Books segments, this is presented by Circa Sports. Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book. Right at your fingertips at Circa Sports. Experience big app bets with the highest betting limits, better money line splits with the lowest hold, best customer service, and more. Sports betting on the go has never been better. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Nevada. Get your new book today at circasports.com. All right, so team that I think has bottomed out at this point following a disastrous blowout loss at home on Saturday is Boston College. And if you're listening, watching this video, I'm sure you're familiar with shot quality, which to me is the best differentiator out right now if we're looking for ways to find market inefficiencies from KenPom, which Vegas has been copying for years, one of the world's most poorly kept secrets. And one of the big advantages as a college basketball bettor, unlike other sports, is that every single day we know exactly what the Vegas rankings are because we can simply open the KenPom page. So by using shot quality and other sites too, but shot quality to me is the best example. We have essentially a completely different way, completely different methodology of evaluating teams that helps us exploit some potential holes in the market. So BC, and I'll pull up here the biggest differences and discrepancies right now. BC has the fourth largest gap between shot quality and KenPom, 201st in KenPom, 94th in shot quality. But this 201st rank right now, KenPom, is a completely new thing because BC started the season 74th. And they spent all of last year between 115 and 145. They were a very low variance team, didn't move around a whole lot. Obviously, starting them 74 this year in hindsight was a big stretch and turned out to be way too ambitious. But to go from 74 to 201 with basically the same roster, just a year older, it seems this is just a big overreaction. It's just driven by a lot of recency bias from the algorithm because of how well teams have shot the ball against BC. They were, after the Vatech win a couple weeks ago, they were up to 160. Since that game, in the 5 games since, teams have shot 46 of 160 from 3 against them. That's over 43%, obviously causing their ranking to plummet quite precipitously. But down the stretch, there are so many ACC bubble teams who need every win they can get. BC really well positioned to be a pain in the ass here. It's a style that can be annoying to play against because they're slow. It's kind of a gross style. It's very unusual in the ACC with a lot of teams who can really shoot the ball. So I do like BC to start bouncing back here. I think we're buying the dip at a good time. The UNC game tonight opened, I think, around 16.5, 17. That's down to 14.5 at the time of recording. So there's clearly some interest in the market with where BC currently is. But I expect them to close the season back in that like 150 to 160 range. So, I wouldn't say you auto bet them, and I didn't get a chance to bet them tonight because the line had moved off of where I wanted it. But I do think if you were to blindly play them every game the rest of the year, you probably come out ahead because they are going to come back up a little bit in the standings, kind of back to their median expectation from where they were last year and the early part of this year. I'll add to that they dealt with quite a bit of roster issues early in the season, a lot of different lineups. I think they had 7 lineups in the first month and a half. Guys out, injuries, all that, but they're pretty much fully healthy now. Rotation hopefully will start to settle in. I think they're a pretty good buy low with their current rank. All right, going to the other end of the spectrum, teams who appear overvalued right now based on current market position. I tweeted this about a week ago, probably last Thursday or Friday. Stetson had shot up what had to be a record amount in KenPom for this time frame, but within a 2-week span, on December 30th, they were 255th. Before Saturday's game against Eastern Kentucky, they were 166. So you have about a 90-spot leap in what amounts to 2 weeks, which had to be unheard of. And without asking Pomeroy himself if this is a record, it's got to be damn near close. But the point is, this 5-6 game stretch has been completely driven by 3-point variance at both ends. In conference play, Stetson's shooting over 41%. Defensively, teams shooting under 30% against them. That is impossible in a league like the ASUN with not just the 3rd highest 3-point percentage made of any conference, but the highest 3-point attempt rate of any conference. Teams get up threes in bunches, and they're pretty damn good at hitting them. Stetson's zone allows a ton of threes. There's nothing to support these numbers. And going back to the shot quality differentials and some of the year-over-year stuff. 64 spot difference right now between shot quality at 244 and Ken Pom at 180. But also importantly, Stetson ended last year 304th, brought back a good amount of the same guys. Mid-pack in terms of continuity at 183rd, but still a fairly young team, 260th in experience. There's nothing here to support this right now. This team is, in my estimation, somewhere in my rankings, they're around like 250, 260. So at 180, this is a fade for the foreseeable future for me. It started on Saturday against EKU, lost by 15, a game that arguably wasn't even that close. And I think it's going to continue now over the next couple of weeks. They're projected 3-point favorites against Kennesaw, projected 10-point favorites against Jacksonville State. They're going to be laying some double-digit points here. North Alabama 11, Central Arkansas 12. All these games within the next 2 to 3 weeks. Those are incredible fade spots in the aggregate. I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to cover every game, but I think overall, again, this is, if you fade this team consistently, you're going to come out ahead. They're just way, way overheated right now in the market. So, BC is a buy, Stetson is a sell. It's not auto by any means. I'm not a big auto guy in general, but these are two teams I would certainly keep an eye on. Again, as a reminder, this Hit the Book segment presented by Circa Sports. Bet like the pros at the world's largest sports book, right at your fingertips. Big app bets, better money line splits, best customer service, and more. Download your new book today at circasports.com. Hopefully we'll be back next week. Same type of segment. Pick 2 new teams to focus on. Until then, take care.